What's up, YouTube? What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. This is the weekly lawn and garden show. Wow, appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. This is gonna be a good show. This is gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna cover a lot of subjects. We've got a lot to get into here. I've got my arms being cut off by how far I have to crop in this image. But y'all, it's go time. So let's jump in here and see what's going on. I think I gave enough of a serious jump on this that we're gonna take it up a couple notches. I was worried about blowing out the microphone hanging around here, but I think I'm going to be okay. I'm going to leave it out of the screen. If y'all can't hear me and need me to speak a little louder, do not hesitate to let me know. Also wanted to make sure the phone conversation between John Borden and I did not make it into the live show. I think we are good on that one. So, all right, we're going to jump in here. We're going to get this started. For those of you that are just tuning in, this is the weekly lawn and garden show. My name is Matt Martin, and you are watching The Grass Factor. We like to cover topics that typically revolve in the world of turfgrass management. We can jump into a little bit of work on some perennials, maybe some herbaceous flowers, or some woody ornamentals. However, we'd like to stick somewhere in the turfgrass realm. That's my background. Started in golf, then went into residential lawn care, worked at Old True Green, then made my way over to Fairway Lawns, and then started spraying on my own, and then became a fertilizer manufacturer as of about February of this year. I can say legitimately we became fertilizer manufacturers. So for those of you that are just tuning in, welcome. For those of you that are back, I'm glad you're here. We're going to move on to that segment of the show I'd like to refer to as the roll call. And if Lushy, I don't know where you're at, Lushy, but look who's in here. First was Sean Smith, the hungry Southerner. Made it in first. John Teague was a close second. He was first, but first is actually just second. And we have Lawn Stripes. What's going on up in Ohio? We got Shane Brady, the hardest working man in lawn care, all the way up in Nebraska. We got chats coming in. Who is this chat from? Oh, Lushy's here. He's lurking in the background. I got that little $5 notification coming up, Lushy. We're going to get started on the wrong foot if you're not careful, good sir. I will arm wrestle you, Aaron. I will arm wrestle you. All right, we got Terry Finches here. Garrett Scott, 2 weeks in a row. That's what I'm saying. Lambert is here doing all his attorney stuff over in Attorneyville, USA. In the deep south he is. How are you, Lambert? My favorite. I've got two favorite lawyers. Lambert is one of them. And then we got one more that is my crotchety old favorite friend, Ridge Runner, who does not paint rosy pictures. He tells it like he is. That's what I love you attorneys for. We got more people creeping on in here in these chats here. The Lawn Stripes is throwing a little bit of that Ohio money at me. It's starting to get weird, guys. It's starting to get weird. We got Dustin at play here. BB Camillo all the way in the soggy Central Florida. Gabrielle Jordan. That's Gabriel Jordan. I don't know why I said Gabrielle. We got Paul's Prime Cuts. That's what I'm talking about. Garrett Scott's got a question about We've got, let's see who else is here. AV Guy's here. How's it going, big guy? I'm glad you're here. Mark Macchione. How are you, good sir? Chris We got Gatriot Landscaping all the way up in Detroit. What's going on up there? Terry Finch, stop it. Stop it. Terry, get back, Terry. Terry, get back. What are you doing, Terry? Get back. And we've got Ray the Green Duck is in the house. And we've got Canada Chris, future former lawn nerd, Gene Ducati DeClose, Steve Williams, Josh Baker. Look at all these people in here. Jake Reitmeyer from Nash Vegas, Tennessee. Brent Schmidt, my baby girl born on Thursday. Congratulations, Mr. Brett. That's a heck of an accomplishment. I see the heat, Lushy. Let's tone it down. We're at a 7.5 right now. We need to be at about a 5, okay? It's too early to be sweating. We got Benjamin's BT in the shows. All right. So, for those of you that are wondering how this show works, it's a question and answer format. You ask questions, I provide answers. I may not know the answer to your question, but I will do everything in my power to give you the best answer I possibly can, even if it is wrong. So, we're going to go ahead and make that note too. I am wrong often, a lot. The hungry Sean, you're not going to buy your way in line for some X-Start. I'm telling you right now. But we are going to be talking about X-Start tonight. I'm going to talk about X-Start. Dang it. Question and answer format. You ask questions, I provide answers. Sometimes I'm wrong. Be prepared. I may give you bad advice. It happens. Sometimes I speak faster than I think, and what I say is just word vomit, blah, 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 blah. Or I try and logic my way through an answer, and I have failed logic. Just be warned. That came from my attorney. Lambert told me I have to give this precursor here that I may make mistakes, so you know what I'm saying. Okay, so anyway, that's how the show works. I'm going to quickly tell everybody if they would like to reach out to me in some form or fashion. You can typically find me at thelawndiscord.com. You can type that in to the old search bar, and that'll take you right on over to the Discord, where myself and a couple of the other lawn guys like to hang out. We got everybody from Turf Pros to, we got HVAC, we got all kinds of different personalities and employers, and we have a NASA scientist in there. I'm looking at you, Sean. I'm looking at you. It's a really fun place to hang out. I kind of call it like it's the recovery group, right? Where, we all tell stories about how cool we used to be when we were in high school or college or something. Except me, I never talk about that. That water's cold. You can also send me an email at thegrassfactor@gmail.com. Just a word of warning, I'm about a month behind on emails at thegrassfactor@gmail.com. So if you send it there, it's going to be a while before I get to you because I've got 187 viable questions to answer right now on that I have not answered. And you can find me on Instagram at thegrassfactor, and you could usually find me at the Lawn Forum, although I have not logged into the Lawn Forum in maybe a month. I need to do that and check and see what's going on and just get caught up. And no real reason other than I've just been incredibly busy, of course. I'm tired of giving that excuse, but in reality, that is the excuse. So we're going to jump back into the show here because it looks like we've got some questions that are beginning to come in. Whoa! We got blasted with super chats here. What is going on? Here's your money. I owe you for the shout out. Oh, gosh. Lambert, What is that? Why aren't we doing this? Ain't no need. Okay, the first question I was asked was Garrett Scott. On Carbon X, do you know the equivalent rate of RGS in there? If I applied it 3 pounds per 1,000, does that also equal 3 ounce per 1,000 of RGS? Yes, Garrett Scott, that is exactly it. That's exactly how we designed it, right? So during our agglomeration process, we have to use a liquid, a binder of sorts to get the particles to begin to adhere together and form into that ball shape. It's called agglomeration. So we use that. We use humic and kelp during that agglomeration, a liquid humic and kelp during that agglomeration, and it's designed to mimic a 3 ounce per 1,000 rate of humic and kelp. So that's exactly how it is. We can put upwards of 30 gallons into 1 ton of fertilizer. So we do the math on that to make it come out to about that rate. Hey-yo! All right, I think I saw some more questions coming in here. Maybe not. Maybe I didn't have any more questions. Oh, I didn't scroll down far enough. All right, here we go. Tori D says, I am struggling with Johnson grass down here in South Carolina. Sprayed it with Roundup multiple times. Keep coming back spring after spring. Unfortunately, Tori D, that's just kind of the nature of Johnson grass. It will continue to come back. However, if it's in a lawn, what is going to be the going product right now for Johnson grass? Wow. I'm so used to people asking about Johnson grass in cool season grasses that I forget about warm season grasses. So I would probably look at the label for Tribute Total and see what that label looks like for Johnson grass. It seemed like I used to run a combination of, what was it? It was Celsius and something else. And I cannot remember. I may have combined Celsius and Monument just because that was what I had in the tank and that did a fair job on it. I cannot remember. I will think about that and I'll get back to the end of the show. And in fact, I'll tell you what we can do. We can ask Green Doc. Green Doc, what would you recommend for Johnson grass in warm season turf? Gravy, look out in the house. What should I apply now before I head out seeding to take care of existing moss? Okay, so if you want to take out moss, there's many different things you can apply. If you're going to be seeding and you're going to be applying a starter fert, do not apply an iron supplement. Even though iron may do a good job at killing the moss, the problem is that iron specifically will do a great job of tying up any phosphorus you apply. So I would not apply a product containing iron. I would apply carfentrazone, also known as Quicksilver. I think that would be your best bet to take care of existing moss. Kill it and then seed into it. Hope that helps. There's a lot of IT guys, the lawn stripes. There's a lot of IT guys in the Discord. Let's see. How can I kill bunching fescue in my tall fescue? Okay, American Troy, I do not understand your question. Because tall fescue is a bunching grass. It's a clumping grass in general. If you have a bunching fescue in your tall fescue, then that is just another variety of fescue in fescue, and you're not going to be able to selectively control that. So, for instance, if you look at when you go out with a seed variety that you're going to be putting out on your lawn, typically that's going to be made up of 3 or 4 different seed types, right? And some of them are going to have different aesthetics, and as they develop and mature in a lawn, that's when it may become more obvious that the bunching characteristic of it, or it just doesn't blend really well with the other 2 fescue types you have in and around it. So bunching fescue is tall fescue. Now there's a coarse fescue, also known as like Kentucky 31, that's primarily used for pasture and grazing. And again, it's another tall fescue in a tall fescue lawn. So there's no way to selectively control that. I would recommend wicking it with glyphosate would be your best bet. What's going on, Richard Freeman? How are you, sir? If overseeding warm turf with perennial ryegrass for winter and obviously not putting down pre-em, would you put down tenacity at seeding or just solve the weeds that come up with monument following spring? Yeah, John, I would not worry about weeds because perennial ryegrass typically comes in so thick and dense that you're not going to have to worry about a lot of weed pressure. Oh, getting a little squirrely there. You're not going to have to worry a whole lot about weed pressure. If you do get a heavy infestation of weeds, typically it's going to be broadleaf weeds first. And you can take that out with your 2,4-D, 3-way, whatever you have. Then if you have a bad POA problem, just let it go because it's in perennial ryegrass, and then spray it out in the spring when you spray out your perennial ryegrass. So I would not worry about fiddle-farting around with tenacity, and the reason being is that you would apply tenacity really before the Bermuda grass has gone dormant, and that's not a good time to bleach the Bermuda grass, especially you having an ultra hybrid Tifgrand. I just don't want to recommend you to bleach that right into dormancy. Let's see, what has been your experience with using Pilex and fescue over the recommended 3-year treatment? Is it worth the money? Eli, It all depends on your situation. Being worth the money is a loaded question, and I'll tell you why. Because there are some people that, and this is purely my experience from being a professional applicator, where I was told that under no circumstance at all ever can we renovate my yard. My wife would kill me. However, what we are going to do is employ any opportunity we possibly can to get rid of the Bermuda grass in my yard. And in that instance, Pilux was great because it gave you that nice visual representation. You could get fescue established into it really, really, really well without the use of glyphosate and then having to do a quote-unquote renovation. So, in my opinion, is it worth the money? Absolutely. Not only from just a Bermuda grass perspective, but how broad spectrum it is in controlling crabgrass, goose grass, and as well as Bermuda grass. So, in my opinion, it's absolutely worth the money and a phenomenal product that's underutilized because people see, 8 ounces for $400 when in actuality you're only applying 1 ounce per acre, so it only costs $40 per acre or $1 per 1,000 square feet roughly to apply it, which is not expensive compared to a lot of other herbicides out on the market, right? So you take Monument, for example, and that may cost $5 per 1,000 square feet. You take Revolver, that may be $5 per 1,000 square feet. You take Celsius, is going to be between $60 and $80 per an acre, so $1.50 to $2 per 1,000. So is it an app that's cheaper than Celsius? I mean, it's almost as equally as effective, just for a different set of weeds. Benjamin says, I'm in northern New Jersey and I want to throw down... Whoa, we jumped. Here we go. Okay. I want to throw down an application to Carbon X this week and also aerate and overseed around September 1. How long before I seed should I apply Carbon X? Turf type tall fescue and perennial rye. Okay, you can apply it at exactly the same time. It's not going to hurt anything. I wouldn't go crazy heavy. Like, I wouldn't be putting down 1.5 pounds of N in one application. But you can certainly apply it at 3 pounds per 1,000, get down 3/4 pound of N. At time of seeding, you're not going to hurt anything. In my opinion, that would be the best time to get it down. What's up, A's Lawn and Landscaping? I see you in there. Is there any advantage, disadvantage to using liquid program over granular? 7,000 square feet of turf type tall fescue in Owensboro, Kentucky. No, Josh, it all comes down to preference. If you want to apply granular, you can apply granular. If you want to apply liquid, you can apply liquid. I can tell you why I designed Carbon X. Really, I designed it for how I would use it in my business as a professional applicator, was that I needed the tank space availability to have more flexibility with fungicides, weed controls, and insecticides that I wanted to run, and I ran a machine, right? So I ran a Permagreen. So my solution to that was to put as much material into a granular fertilizer as possible, so then I could have the tank space availability to carry weed controls or fungicides or insecticides, whatever the case may be. So the advantage, disadvantage there is whatever you have in terms of equipment to be able to apply it. Let's see. Check your email. I just sent you an update photo on the lawn burns. 818 is legit. That's what I'm talking about. Good stuff. Hey, the Grass Factor. I live in Michigan. I have a huge maple tree in my backyard. The grass thins out dramatically around the tree. What can I do to keep it thicker in the summer? Tim, what I would recommend is heading over to Home Depot, and you're going to look for a bar that has a chain of teeth going around it. Make that purchase. You can rent it too and come back and take the tree down. Now, obviously, that's a little bit of extreme. Not everybody could just go cut down a tree, right? So, but the limiting factor there is going to be light, right? So whatever you can do to increase the amount of light that reaches the grass. You can try all the shade-tolerant grasses in the world, but the key word when you hear that, shade-tolerant, is that it tolerates shade, not that it performs in shade. When you're talking about thinning out dramatically around a tree, your grass may have thinned out dramatically, but it didn't completely die. That you still have something growing there. That's shade tolerant. So that's probably about as good as it can get. So anything you could do to increase your light exposure to the grass from where you are currently right now will result in thicker grass longer term underneath that tree. So if that means limbing up the tree or thinning out the canopy of the tree, whichever approach you want to take to even taking the tree completely down or just turning it into a giant mulch bed, any of those are perfectly acceptable options because, unfortunately, you've just reached the genetic limit of the plant. You've reached the genetic limit of grass. And any plant is really going to require more than anything is sunlight, because sunlight is what kickstarts. Sunlight is the most important part of photosynthesis, of converting energy from the sun into carbohydrates for the plant, right? And you get this respiration and stuff. So none of that can happen without the sun. So sun is extremely important. Future Foreman, thank you for correcting the 311 playlist. If I will, obviously, I listen to that a lot. Thank you. Leshy, where is this coming from, man? Where is this coming from? I don't know what's going on here. I did not see that, Leshy. I didn't see it. What are you doing, Aaron? Hey, Matt, I have some Bermuda creeping in my fescue. I'm currently hitting it with Turflawn ester. Is there a certain amount of apps I should do? And should I wait a couple weeks before overseeding? Yes, wait before overseeding. Is there a certain number of apps you should do? No. Unfortunately, there is no magic number for the number of apps you're going to have to do. So, in reality, you may have to do 14 applications this year, and then another 14 next year, and then another 14 the year after that. The whole reason I liked Pylex was that it had a written blueprint for how many applications. 3 applications per year for 3 to 4 years, right? So that was easy for me to follow. I had to sell 12 apps, right? With Turfline, it's just you continue to spray it until it goes dormant and understand that it will probably come back again next year and you'll have to do the same thing next year. So there we go. Are you aware of any studies that have examined a possible link between striping and disease? No, I'm not aware of any of that. And that's mainly because universities aren't going to be big into researching homeowners striping tall grass at 4 inches and laying it over. I mean, that's just, from a university perspective, I'd say that's probably just not really high on their list. But I think an easy thing you could do, social support, is set up that test in your lawn where, you do half of it where you stripe it really nice at 4 inches, and then the other half, you make sure you don't stripe it. But here's the thing. If you're mowing at 4 inches, it's going to stripe regardless. So I think there's plenty of research that shows disease potential between a 4-inch height cut to, what is happening? The hungry... Here's money for your copay. Go see a doctor about that lung fungus. I know, it's been lingering for a long time. I do need to go check it out. It's like it gets better and then it gets worse. And we're in Ragweed Season 2. THS. So I will get there. I will get there. I promise you. Ray says Celsius plus Revolver. For the guy who was asking about Johnson grass, I said Tribute Total. You can also mix that yourself as Celsius plus Revolver. They're both going to be very similar and have the same efficacy. Let's see. Social support. So like I was saying, yeah, there's lots of studies that do show links between height of cut and disease potential, but not necessarily just purely striping. The other thing you can look at is like rolling greens. I think that would be pretty similar, but again, you're talking about grass that's going to be anywhere from 100 thousandths of an inch to 200 thousandths of an inch, and rolling that, on a weekly basis to increase stem speed, the speed of your greens. You might be able to draw some correlations there that would be closer to apples and apples, but not specifically striping with a mower at 4-inch fescue. I'm just thinking, Lushy, unnecessary, dog. We see what's going on here. I'm not dying. We do not need to keep me alive. I'm not dying. I'm telling everybody right now. I sprayed my Kentucky bluegrass with Pilex to kill Bermuda grass that is taking over. Pilex turns Bermuda snow white. How soon can I mow and still have the Pilex doing the maximum job? I have waited 10 days. Probably around 20 days. You can mow as soon as you want. No problem there. But it will last somewhere around 20 days. So remember, Danny, it's a 3 application process. So get ready, somewhere between 14 and 21 days before the Bermuda really starts to green up. Spray it again. Don't give up just because it turns snow white on the first application. Continue to spray. Matt's whooping cough. Hey, Matt, for my POA infestation, to get 2 modes of action in place, would it be beneficial to put down full rates of ethylfumicate and mesotrione 40% when I overseed this fall, or cut the rates in half? Here's my take on that is, what is going on, Chris? It's probably not a tumor. It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor. If it were me, Gene, I would probably go higher on the ethylfumicate and lower on the Actually, no, I wouldn't. I'd probably run full rates of both. Probably something like 4 to 5 ounces per acre of mesotrione, and then the single app rate of what is this now? For 25 cents a day. That's funny. I'd go full rates of both, and it's not just there for 2 modes of action, but specifically when you're trying to go after POA, go after it hard. Don't leave any behind. Spray it to get it. Spray it to get it. How should I thatch my cool season lawn? And when, since I get POA every year, should I use a thatch machine or use a liquid thatcher? Certainly, yeah. Use a liquid dethatcher. I mean, you got cool season grass. In my opinion, that's exactly what I would do. Get you a cool season liquid. I mean, a liquid dethatcher with some molasses and goodies in it, and yeast, or wherever the case may be. Get out there and soak it down and have at it. And I would do that when it's still hot. So I would do that like right now. Matt, what do you think of Duo Stick, which combines MSO and organosilicone? Lambert, I love it. I love it. So one of my favorites that I ran for a really, really long time was a product that Helena distributed called Dynamic. And it was a mix of a crop oil concentrate and organosilicone. And let me tell you, that stuff was lethal hot. Woo, hot. And absolutely my all-time favorite surfactant I've ever used. So I will tell you right now, I'm a big fan of Duo Stick. Just understand that any herbicide you mix that with, you're going to increase the amount of collateral damage you normally have. I'm not. I'm doing okay. Diego Diaz Facing. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I promise I am okay. I am not dying. Let's see here. Matt Starters 824-4. Come check out my lawn if you want to see how good shade-tolerant grasses can perform. That's right. That is right. You are shade-tolerant. Thank you. Working on the tree canopy every year. Also, 8181 went down 2 weeks ago. Front yard looks great. Awesome. Hey, Matt, how much NPK should you put down for a total lawn reno? Okay, interesting thought here, Joseph Murphy, is that there's no real one answer to that, okay? These are my favorite kinds of questions because there are so many variables that go into an actual answer here. So let me put it to you this way. Your soil test is going to show what you're deficient in. And if you're doing a total lawn renovation, I would work on getting those deficiencies in order immediately. It's a perfect time. You've stripped everything off. You're going from ground zero. get it all corrected as close as you possibly can. If that's one of those times where if you need to get 100 pounds of lime in, get 100 pounds of lime in, till it in. If you got to, well, you probably don't. I was going to say, if you got to drill, you drill your phosphorus in to get your phosphorus levels where they need to be. But that's a perfect time to do it. So I would lean more on your soil test then to see exactly which nutrients you need to be focusing on, and then getting a baseline for a rate that you do need to be incorporating those in. What are you doing, Chris? Oh, that's the same one from earlier. Sorry. Steve, I don't know what that's for, but I don't need it, man. I do not need it. I never put it in reverse. He said, I'm okay, everyone. I'm okay. I promise. Oh, man. 818 is legit, said Lushy. Just aerated my lawn. Plan on overseeding with cool season seed. Anything else I should push with it? Josh, I don't know what you're asking there. I got two glasses here. My wife has got jokes. My wife has got jokes. Save Matt. Go see a doctor. That's funny. Hungry, stop it. What are you talking about? I will go see a doctor. This cough will go away soon. I promise. Josh, I don't know what you're asking. Like, are you talking about like fertilizer wise that you should be putting down with it? I would lean back on your soil test and probably get down some phosphorus with it. Perhaps like a starter fertilizer or something like that. But again, it all depends on your soil test. So is there anything you should put down with it? I don't know. What options do you have? I mean, there's tons of options. So I'm not going to be able to come up with just one answer for you there. You're the king of IT at Discords. I'm the king of IT observation. I have to identify who's in IT and who is not. I am sweating profusely in here. It is hot. It's on fire. I'm really uncomfortable. I'm really nervous right now. Because, listen, somebody got on to me about yelling for when the super chats come in, so I'm trying not to yell. And I'm so uncomfortable, and I'm sweating, and I feel like it's it's running down my back. It's actually, sweat is dripping down my back. And it's disgusting. And I'm drinking water, actually. It's delicious. Okay. What is this? If we can save Ferris Bueller, we can save Matt. I don't know where I'm at anymore. I don't know what's happening. What are y'all doing? My life is okay. I'm not dying. What is happening here? Matt Kaczynski wants to know, since Bermuda repairs itself, can you spot spray weeds in a Bermuda lawn with glyphosate? Yes, you can, if you're okay with just blowing holes in it. Yes, you can. In fact, Matt, you can actually blanket spray glyphosate over Bermuda to kill weeds, and it does a good job, and it doesn't kill the Bermuda grass. So, an easy... I'm sorry, Chris. I see Chris Gibson is over here on this monitor. He's doing something weird in here. I've got like faces winking at me and stuff blowing up. I'm concerned every time I cough. I feel like someone's going to be concerned that I'm dying, and I'm trying to pay attention to the questions on this monitor, but I'm scared Future Former Lawn Noob is going to hear me cough, and then he's going to chastise me again. And then now we've got the lawn care addicts over here with more with more silly faces going on, I am so nervous. So 16 ounces to the acre, 16 to 32 ounces to the acre, Matt Kaczynski, is a known blanket sprayable rate over Bermuda grass when it's green and actively growing. That will cause damage, but it will grow out of it relatively quickly. And if you look at the Roundup label, the actual Roundup 41% label, I don't know what's happening. You will see a section called chemical mowing, and chemical mowing actually talks about the rate you can apply glyphosate right over top of Bermuda that will have a growth regulatory effect on it. Then there's also going to be a section about applying glyphosate on top of green, actively growing Bermuda as a post-emergent weed control. So yes, there's lots and lots of uses with it. Lushy, what are you doing? God. Man. Here we go. Lushy. Finding shallow roots in a Kentucky bluegrass lawn due to improper watering practices. What are the best short-term, long-term fixes? After a super hot summer, I currently have a thick top layer of dead grass roots. Okay. Best short-term, long-term fixes. Short-term would be probably something like aeration to open up that soil profile. However you want to go about that. Something like aerate to move things through the soil profile quickly that's fine. You can do that. Long term, correct your watering habits, and get it used to correct watering habits too, right? Because your turf gets really shallow rooted because it knows that's where it can always find that water. So you're going to have to adjust your cultural practices and stress that grass, let it dry out, and force the roots to run deep. If the grass dies because the roots don't want to run deep, that's fine. Reseed into it and teach it from the get-go the proper way to handle drought stress. So, yeah, that's what I would do. And it's gonna freak the grass out, but it's better just do it all at one time, get it over with, be done with it. Renovate your dead areas, hurry up and get those renovated, and then put it on a regular watering program. Yes, I'm so off my game right now. There's still stuff going on over here in the chat, and I haven't even gotten down to it. And American Troy, Matt is sick of taking donations. I'm not. Matt should wear a mask on the live stream. I think I caught a computer virus from his call. Thought I remember that was key selling point. Let's see. We're talking about Fusillade. Yes, Fusillade. What's your thoughts on generic tenacity? Have seen it for agriculture around $180 a gallon. Still 40% active ingredient. Kenny Cooper, if it does not have a turf label, it's technically illegal to apply to turf grass. So that's kind of really all I can say about that. Be Real 961, best ratio for starter fert. Chem Company gave me a 15-25-10. I think now is a good time to talk about X-Start and what we did with it. So X-Start is it's currently live for the pro market, and I'll tell you a little bit about how we formulated it. Right, so we take our normal base product, our 818, and then we actually use monoammonium phosphate as our phosphorus source. blend those two 50-50, and that's what gives us our X-Star. We pull out the iron because iron and phosphorus in particular do not play well together. Phosphorus will be bound up by iron really quickly after application. So we pulled that. We replaced it with a zinc and fulvic concentration. And this will actually have a chelating effect on that zinc to keep it from binding up, to keep the metal from binding up with the phosphorus that's in it. So that was our take on it. Plus, there's some studies. Officer Chris Elms here was texting me some things about phosphorus, and we were looking at specifically zinc, and plants that have higher zinc levels in their tissue typically do a better job at utilizing phosphorus from the soil. So that was also one of the big key components in getting that in there versus the iron. So 8:24:4 is what we come out with. And you can see that's a 2:6:1 ratio. Am I married to a 2:6:1? You've got a 3:5:2 in that one from your chem company. Is there anything wrong with that? No, not at all. Typically, when you're establishing seed, you don't need a ton of N and K immediately right off the bat, because phosphorus is what's going to be most utilized to start and develop that root mass. Then you can come back after that with your nitrogen, right? Because a lot of nitrogen at the time of seeding, ammonia in particular, can be toxic to seeds as they develop. So in an effort to give the seed the best chance possible, just a little bit of N, just a little bit of K, and a hot wallop of phosphorus. So there we go. Hey, Matt. Wow, man, I'm saving Matt. I'm looking for a doctor here. My wife. Or the better question would be, what is going on here? Overseeding question. Better to fert before or after overseeding, or is it just a personal preference? Sorry if this has been asked. Game of lawn. It comes down really to just personal preference. Phosphorus does move relatively slow once, in the soil. So I can understand applying phosphorus before you get your seed down. Totally good there. That's probably the optimal way to get that done, is to get your starter fert down, watered in, and then come back with your seed after the fact. And then once your seed is up and it looks like it's almost to the point of getting cut, that's when you need to start pounding it with nitrogen at that point, because as much root mass as you can get developed in that fall is only going to set you up for that much more successful in the summer. So get as much maturation done in the fall as you possibly can. Hammer it within. Do not be shy. Go after it. Get it hard. Because that will pay you dividends the next spring and the next summer. Let's see. I missed the first part of your question, El Chapo. The better question would be, how much pre-em should I put down in September to stop Poa annua next year, but still be able to overseed in the spring? Need help big time. It depends on which pre-em you choose and what rate you put down, right? So look for the section on the label that says overseed interval. So for instance, I think prodiamine is like 8 weeks, 9 weeks, something like that. So if you put it down in September, 9 weeks after that, you can put down your seed. But there will be a section on the label that refers to an overseed interval, and that's specifically what that is looking for. My business partner's worried about me. He said we need key man insurance. That is funny. Everybody show some love to John Borden in the house. He's tuning in here late tonight. And I tell you what, if y'all want to do something really nice for John, this is what everybody needs to do right now. Let's see. Let me find Urban Valley Farms. Everybody go over here and order. This is going to sound crazy, but trust me on this. John is an entrepreneur at heart, and just through and through an absolute beast of an entrepreneur. He actually owns his own cricket farm where he develops cricket protein. And so this would be like a protein for working out, or you need a protein supplement. There you go. Go check that out. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. He's got his farm set up over there, right behind our office, and just to go over there and check it out and see what they're doing is just freaking awesome. I mean, it is really awesome. And Carson Bone, his partner in that project, is also an engineer that we use at Carbon Earth, and again, another complete and total just awesome person. So go check him out. Somebody order some cricket protein from him and see what it's all about. It actually smells like Ovaltine. It's the strangest thing in the whole world. It doesn't have a taste. It's really cool. It is really cool. The crickets did not give me the cough. I've had the cough for a while. I think my kids and I keep giving it back and forth to each other. Or it could just be the fact that I'm just talking out here. Ray said he's got a refrigerator full of antibiotics. If there's a campaign to save Matt, can you get a Sarah McLachlan to sing Arms of the Angel? Okay, let's see here. Roshan Parker says, how late in the season do you apply fungicides? I'm still seeing dollar spot after multiple apps of Strobe, Prop, Clearies, K-Fight, Zoxy, and Prop mixed. Well, here's the thing. If you're applying any strobilurin on your dollar spot, that's probably a big mistake. Dollar spot, I would always keep the strobilurin off, particularly azoxystrobin. Azoxystrobin and dollar spot do not go well together. How late do you apply that into the season? I apply it until the disease pressure resides. So, there I go. I'm not dying. So, when we'll say your temperatures for the development of dollar spot are going to be temperatures above 80 and nighttime temperatures above 60. So, when you're consistently cooler than that, 77, 78, 76, then you can stop applying your fungicide. So really, it's all going to be depending on when you get out of the weather pattern for dollar spot. That may be September, that may be October. And then October, you may transition right into rust, which may have you continue to having to do it. So I don't have a good answer for you there. But the cooler it is outside, typically, the less disease pressure you're going to have. Matt, the best ratio of NPK for a starter or for is the ratio that you're selling. All the other ratios are not. If I spray my lawn with propiconazole with my... Oh, that is funny. Travis Simcoe, how are you doing, good sir? Okay, so 4th Millennium SRP on the NTEP trials did extremely well. So if it were me in my position, I would definitely use 4th Millennium SRP. I know it's expensive, but it will return to you in dividends. The Lesco's Tall Fescue mix typically are like 2 and 3 year old seed varieties, maybe 3 to 8 year old seed varieties. They're not really new in terms of what's out on the market that's best performing. They're usually good performing in the NTEP trials. They're just really old varieties. They're old genetics. And in my opinion, the further you can take the genetics of your lawn, the more success you're going to have, because at this point, if there's any limiting factor when it comes to turf management, it is always the genetics of the plant. So, My thoughts would be go for 4th Millennium SRP Tall Fescue, and I would also get something blended in with it. I would recommend something from Mountain View Seeds, just based on my experience. So, Valkyrie, I can't remember what any of them are right now. Screamer, Dynamite, all of those were Spider. Those were all really good for me, so I would recommend something from that. I just got the BioStem pack for my cool season lawn. What can I use on my Bermuda while it's still in the 90s? Peg junk, you could pretty much go with any of that. I'm not exactly sure what's in the BioStem pack, but if I had to guess, it's like Humic 12 and RGS. Then, yeah, I mean, you can put down all, but it ain't going to hurt nothing. The plague is making you hide. Hey, Matt, is 25 too much P for starter fertilizer? Be real, no, sir. A lot of people, like in agriculture, they just put down monoammonium phosphate, and it's 11-52-0. So, there you go. Got to get a new spreader. Mine left dark stripes again. Which one do you like best? I like the Lesco spreader best because you can get the breakthrough agitator that goes on it, and in my opinion, that breakthrough agitator is the best piece of add-on equipment I've ever seen in the green industry. It's easily the best product to come out in the green industry in the last 20 years. Is the breakthrough agitator. You mark my words on that. If you're looking where to find it, I'm sure it is online somewhere now, and it's not exactly cheap. Here it is on Amazon, and I apologize in advance for the link. I don't know how to do short links with Amazon because I'm not very good at the whole computer thing. Is there not a share button on this? Here we go. I'm gonna share this via email, and it is still just an unbelievable link. Okay, but I'm gonna send this over. This is the link for the breakthrough agitator there. Terry Finch, I absolutely love that thing. It goes on a Lesco 3-hole spreader. So in my opinion, that is the best spreader money can get. A Lesco 3-hole spreader plus the breakthrough agitator. And it was actually developed by the guys at Permagreen and another guy, Chris, who they brought on to help design it as well. And so always a big fan of everything that comes out of Permagreen. And this really probably the best product to come out in the last 20 years in that regard. Look at all these stickers that came in here. After renovation and starter fert, when can you start pumping it within? 2 weeks. When you start seeing the green come up, you can start pumping it within. My favorite spreader, $200 or less? I don't know, Corey. I've never used one. So I honestly have no clue. I've never used a spreader less than $200. That will only get super chatted through UT. All reputable colleges are off limits for math. Maybe Matt needs to unbutton his shirt for a few more to cool off. Kenny Cooper, I may have gotten your email about it. I honestly don't know here. Hang on, I'm gonna search right here and see if I see it. It's not in that email. Here we go. Spreader settings for the chap and toe behind spreader with auto start. Man, I honestly do not know. Man, I do not know. To be honest, I've never seen one. I do not know. Toe behind spreader with auto stop. Let's see if I can see what the range is on it. Something of the sort that would allow for adjustment. No, I do not even see. Wow, how do they calculate that opening? Man, I have no idea. I really don't. I would start halfway as a general rule of thumb and see what happens. And probably what I would do is I'd get a bag of lime and just use a bag of lime since it's not going to hurt anything to calibrate it, and then go back with your fertilizer after the fact. I laugh that Matt is laughing at a serious question because he's so nervous. I am trying to hold the cough back. It's at this point it's getting ridiculous. I got your email, the lawn care addicts. I did get that. AV guy, Matt, I have a praise report. Just got a rain notification on my phone, and it's been a long time. Praise the Lord. That's right. Time to get you some rain. I need some rain here too right now. In fact, there's not a whole lot of corn grown here in Rocky Top, but there is a corn field on the way to Home Depot. I drive past all the time, and I like to watch that cornfield, and it is wilting so bad right now. Oh, it's terrible. I feel so sorry for that farmer. I know he was just watching his yield evaporate right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the worst weed ever, and why is it quackgrass? For your quackgrass, Zach's picks, start spraying Fusillade on it or fluazafop. I think that will be your best bet. Go ahead, have at it, apply fluazafop, get rid of it, and then be happy. Barry Kavanaugh says, I've got to renovate this fall. Last fall I did, and it was a wet fall and wet spring. Summer was hot and dry, no irrigation, so this idiot gets to try again. Get my irrigation right. Barry Kavanaugh, good luck, man. Get out there and get it done. Chris Gibson wants to know, at what point of a crab infestation do you switch, say, from quinclorac to fire? If you are not getting if you're not getting control from your quinclorac, then I would switch to fire. Chris, but I would also be willing to say that, one thing I would do is run run a full rate of quinclorac and then throw in like a low rate of Pylex, so a 1/4 ounce to a 1/2 ounce per acre of Pylex, or I think that would be a good mix. It would be super lethal on your crabgrass until you can get through the crab germination period. The good news, Chris, is that you are, what are you? Maybe 6 weeks away from being out of your crabgrass window. So if you can just hold out until then, and before you just start burning it all to the ground, just let the crabgrass go. And then when it goes dormant this winter, use your pre-emergent to make sure it doesn't come back the next spring. You'll be fine. Is that deal ready to start fertilizer effort? That's funny, John. How do you get rid of goosegrass? Roll Tide, says Ray. Golly, go balls. Ray, you get rid of goosegrass with a product called Metribuzin. And the trade name for that is, cannot remember off the top of my head. I'm struggling today. Metribuzin is also known as Syncor. You can also use Pylex. Pylex and Syncor combined also do a great job. You can also combine Simazine with Speed Zone Southern, or Speed Zone, just regular Speed Zone. Speed Zone Southern. That works exceptionally well on, not exceptionally well, but it does have some activity on it. So, but yes, I would start with Metribuzin, Syncor, and Pylex. What up, RBL Jackson? Bought your first skid sprayer. That's what I'm talking about. K. Edmond, when will X-Star be available to the DIY? It's coming soon. It is coming soon. I'm looking to oversee my Bermuda lawn without an irrigation system this fall. Can you provide 3 best tips? Do not overseed Bermuda grass. Don't overseed Bermuda grass, and don't overseed Bermuda grass. Sorry for the cough. We got stuff falling out of frame and all kinds of craziness here. No, I would take what Bermuda grass you have there and feed it appropriately to get it to thicken in and fill up. Nick McKay, if you've never seen, way back when, a couple years ago, I did a video series about growing in my backyard. My backyard's about 25,000 square feet, something like that, and I had about 5,000 square feet of grass back there, and I had to grow the rest of it back in. Actually, I think my backyard was only 20,000 square feet, but I had to grow all of it in from about that 5,000 square feet of viable grass. So you can do that, and I did it without any seed. I did it purely with fertilizer. In fact, this is my backyard right here, right? So it was all bare, and then it grew into that. And that's common Bermuda, it's crap Bermuda, and it still does okay. 3-acre salad bar of Bermuda fescue mix in the transition zone. What is the most effective weed control? Broadleaf plus grassy. Not looking for a golf course turf, just major weed suppression. Jerry, it depends on what weeds you have. If you're going after broadleaf plus grassy, the most cost-effective weed control would be probably quinclorac. Yeah, I think that would be your cheapest. That would get both broadleaf and grasses. Probably what I would do is I would run a 3-way, like a full rate of 3-way plus quinclorac plus a methylated seed oil. That would be about your biggest knockdown that you could get affordably on a 3-acre salad bar. I hope that helps. Let me, hang on. Where am I at? I am lost. Dennis Page, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. What is the darkest cultivar and type of green grass that I can seed my lawn with this Labor Day? Army football, I don't know, but that's going to be one of the Kentucky bluegrasses, like Midnight or something like that. That's going to be the darkest green one. I don't really keep up a whole lot with them, so I would just check that out. There's lots of guys that do. I'd reach out to Ryan Knorr. I'd say Ryan Knorr is going to be the kind of guy that's going to be after the darkest of the dark. Pete Denny would be too, but I know Ryan loves the Kentucky bluegrass. Oh, Connor Ward too. Connor, huge Kentucky bluegrass guy. I'd ask him. Are you full-time with FERT business, or are you still applying? I am full-time with the FERT business. There's no way I could keep up trying to apply to lawns right now. The FERT business it's everything the lawn treatment business was times 100. So what I thought was difficult in the lawn care business, this is 100x of whatever I experienced there. I have Bermuda coming back in my turf-type tall fescue. Been using triclopyr ester, and it's been doing okay, but it's still spreading. Should I just round up those spots since I'm reseeding in a couple weeks? You can, Chris Joyner, but it's going to continue to do the same thing. So I don't want to give you a false sense of security that, yeah, go ahead, round up. It'll be okay. It's not going to be okay. You can do it, yes. Since you're going to be seeding in a couple of weeks, absolutely. Just don't think you're going to have to do this every year. It's just the reality of the situation. Got some centipede seedlings getting to about 1.5 inches. Should I put down some in? Got the sneaky green ready to go. Terry Fitz, get that sneaky green down. Get it down. What is this? Did someone just spam Brexit in the... Someone just spammed Brexit in the chat. That is my all-time favorite I've ever seen. I'm sorry I coughed. I apologize about that. Pre-emergent, can you put down and alternate half rate annually prodiamine and dithiapyr? Robert Bermuda newbie, I did a very long video about prodiamine versus dithiapyr, and then I did one that was like all about pre-emergence where I went even more into that. Yes, you can do that. I typically don't recommend doing that, but yes, you can. And the reason being is that when you apply prodiamine and then you follow it with an application of prodiamine in half-rate situations, they build upon one another. Though dithiapyr is the same mode of action, if you go prodiamine at a half rate followed by a half rate of dithiapyr, they do not build upon one another. You'll get your action out of your prodiamine and then get your action out of dithiapyr. Depending on where you live and your soil structure, that's okay, and it actually does work well that way. In other situations, other soil types, particularly sandy soil types, it may not work that way, and so you want to stick with one and you could do a full rate of prodiamine followed by a full rate of dithiapyr. You absolutely could do that. But doing half rates of alternating chemicals like that, even though they're the same mode of action, you're not building upon the previous application in terms of duration. Matt, treating lawn with tenacity for bent grass. Should I wait until third treatment to put tall fescue down and aerate in Ohio? Probably, William Richards. Probably. What is this? What is going on here? Did YouTube flagged my own link? How funny is that? I tried to put an Amazon link in there. What is Master? Who is this guy? Should I kick this guy out? I'm gonna remove him. I'm gonna put him in timeout. I put him in timeout. Sorry, I got delayed there. I gave him a 300-second timeout. Or do I give him the boot? Should I give him the boot? I'm gonna give him the boot. Let's do this. We are going to remove. Oh, that was just one. I'm gonna put him in timeout again. That's gonna be another 300 seconds. And then I'm going to hide user on this channel. And then for this one here, where he was being racist that y'all did not get to see, I'm actually going to report him on that one. Hate speech or graphic violence report. Okay. All right. He is done. Done. All right. Let me go back up here. Figure out what was going on. Matt, would really like to use Pre-em this September cool season so I can knock off the PUA, but still would like to overseed the following spring. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. El Chapa answered your question earlier, and it was good to go. Grapefruit agitator, what does that do? No idea. It is not the grapefruit agitator. It is the breakthrough agitator. Breakthrough agitator. And here's one on eBay. Here we go. Here's the video here. Here's Mr. E talking about the breakthrough agitator. I'm going to throw that back on there. Can I apply fungicide when I aerate and overseed along with the ferts? Yes, you can if you still have disease potential. Absolutely, you can. Planting real low on centipede next season in North Carolina. Been between 2.5 and 3.5 inches this season. Now down to 1.5 with a manual reel. Anything else besides leveling I should do to prep for next season? No, sir, Kendall Jackson. You will be all good to go. Epstein died waiting on his glyphosate payout. It's unfortunate. Yes. Yes. Let's see. Jason Finley says, crabgrass problem. Should I treat now with temps over 85 for the next couple weeks or so? Or say screw it and wait till fall? Yeah, you can totally do it now. Crabgrass and quinclorac does not have a temperature restriction, so you are good to go there. At least I don't believe it does. I think you're good in all temperatures there. Pilex on a newly planted Bermuda is not good either. Neither is tenacity, the grass factor. Okay, newly planted Bermuda, don't do it. Did I tell somebody to do that on newly planted Bermuda? I hope I didn't. If I did, that was a total accident. The lawn form cool season. Hey, no lime without a soil test. It can screw up the soil pH. Yes, that's correct. It totally can. But if you're just putting down enough to calibrate a spreader, you're not going to hurt anything. By the way, I think I had that cough too. It lasted about 2 months. That was all that. That is funny. Darkest Kentucky bluegrass at the moment is Mazama. There we go. There we go. Man, what in the world was going on? I can't believe the Brexit guy. That was weird. How nutty was that? I didn't even realize what his name was until now. Yeah, he had to go. Man, I'm not doing good on that. That's the whole ice bank joke you guys pulled on me earlier, isn't it? Yardman LLC, I'm late. Was torquing blades at 50 foot-pounds and washing the deck. Hey, how are you, Yardman? Glad you're here, sir. What's up? What's up, Jake the Lawn Kid? You need some X-Dart for the LCN Lawn Revival? No problem. Shoot me a text, man. I got you, dog. I got you. Whoop, whoop. Things you miss here when the kids are yelling. I was like... Found grubs using the dethatch rake preparing for seeding. Is that a serious problem? Possibly, if you've got dead spots in the lawn that look like dead spots. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did tell Gibby to do that. Oh, man. Gibby, do not put any Pilex on your yard. Michael, if you have dead spots in the yard, and chances are it's from the grubs, yes, I would treat for them. It's cheap. It'd be easy to do. Just do it and get it done. Okay, I have made it down to the chat. I have struggled through this show. I apologize. I am really tired. We had a super busy day with my wife and kids, so I'm going to call it. I've been trying to go a little long, but I'm going to call it and cough, go get all of this out of my body. I'm going to go sit in a hot shower and just purge all of this out of my body. Jason Finley, I do not know any over-the-counter crabgrass killers. What I would recommend is buying an actual turf-grade product. There's lots of retailers online, and you want to look for quinclorac or Drive XLR8. And that would be your best bet. Okay, everybody, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for all the super chats and love and support. Thank you so much. Lushy, stop it. Stop it, Lushy. Unnecessary. What does chlorine do in fertilizer? It comes from potassium chloride. It's part of the salt ion and adds to the salt, the saltiness of the fertilizer, the salt index of the fertilizer. Plants do use chlorine in a very, 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 very minute amount. So it's not necessarily detrimental. However, it is just a saltier form of fertilizer compared to sulfate of potash, which has a very low salt index. So anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I had fun tonight, even though I come across as crazy. I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you, everybody. Y'all have a good evening.